What up, Reddit?
Story 1.
Am I the butthole for kicking a pregnant woman out of her seat? Okay, so this happened a few hours ago and I've only just calmed down, because I hate conflict. Basically, I was doing a long travel day for about 5-ish hours. So I booked my train in advance to ensure that I had a reserved seat. When I get on the train, a woman is in my seat, so I politely inform her that I think that's my seat, show her my ticket, and ask her to move. She checks her ticket and just says, well, I must have sit in the wrong seat, and puts her head down. I say that it's my seat and could I please sit in it. At this point, her partner sitting opposite her starts speaking at me in what I perceive to be an aggressive tone. He suggests I find another seat, which there are none because it's busy. I say I booked that seat and there are no other available seats in the carriage. He then raises his voice and says, well, someone else is in our seats and that his missus is pregnant. I say I understand and that I have a heart defect, which I do, and said everyone has their own medical issues and reasons standing for long periods of time might be difficult. And here I could be the a-hole. I ask him to not speak to me in an aggressive tone, and that I will make a complaint. He then starts swearing at me and I ask him to stop. Eventually the woman gets up and allows me to sit there, and he continues to berate me, saying he hopes I feel good for myself and that I'm quiet now I have my seat, when really I just stopped engaging as I felt there was no point. One of the men who was sat beside him offers that him and his partners sit in the seats opposite me. It's a table seat, at which point he sits his partner down and then laughs at me and points in my face. Eventually, when the ticket inspector comes around, they are asked to move her to their assigned seats, and she asks if I'm okay as another passenger had made a complaint on my behalf. Even so, was I the a-hole? Should I have just left them alone as she was pregnant? And did I in any way escalate the situation? Edit, as I don't know how able I'll be to respond to all the comments. Thank you sincerely to everyone that has engaged with this post. I've learned a lot about myself and my ability to let anxiety and overthinking get in the way of trusting my decisions. I honestly came into writing this thinking that I escalated the situation, so to have people affirm that it's just standing my ground and that is alright has been really gratifying. It has taught me, however, I have a way to go with standing up for myself, and not being such a people pleaser. If I don't get to respond, just know I appreciate your engagement with my post nonetheless, and this has really helped to calm me and give me insight after an incredibly stressful situation.
Comment 1. Not the butthole. There's no reason why the husband, as the healthy one, should have stayed in his seat. It's ridiculous that after hearing that you have a heart defect he didn't get out of his seat and give it to his wife, allowing you to take yours. Even if they couldn't sit in their seats, there was no reason for her to have yours. The husband was being a selfish ass. Comment 2. Dang, I hate bully behavior. You paid for your seat, that's how the system works. They know they were in the wrong, and were being assholes about it. Clearly he could have given up his seat, or they could have done the radical idea of sitting in their assigned seats. This 1000% had nothing to do with you, you were just the person they wanted to bully to get their way. Don't give them the satisfaction of wasting another thought on their crap behavior. Not the butthole. Comment 3. Not the butthole. You should have summoned for assistance as soon as these two refused to cooperate, so they could have been escorted to their proper seats, or kicked off the train. Pregnancy does not excuse poor manners for both expectant mother or baby daddy. Not the butthole. You did absolutely nothing wrong. You had a reserved seat, and you were polite and assertive in asking for it back. Their aggressive behavior was completely unacceptable. You have every right to stand up for yourself and your rights. Story 2.
Am I the butthole for not inviting my friend to a party, after he consistently overstays and breaks all social contracts? Recently I had some friends over for a party at my house, and notably didn't invite my friend John. I didn't lie to him, or say that we weren't doing it, or rub it in his face. I just had some friends over and he didn't get the invite. I felt bad, but at the same time he always stays too late, makes things really uncomfortable for me, and is just a difficult guest to have in my house. I hosted a Super Bowl party, and he stayed roughly 2 hours later than everyone else, even though I straight up told him, party's overdue. He vapes, he says the N-word, which I don't think anyone should say, but especially not him, and makes jokes about some of my mental health issues. I love him to death and he's one of my oldest friends, but it's at the point where if he's coming to my house I have anxiety the whole day leading up to it. Anyways, he called me during my party and asked me what I was up to, and if I wanted to catch a movie. I said I actually had a couple people over so I couldn't tonight, and he asked who. I told him and he asked why he wasn't invited / if he could come, and I said something along the lines of, "Not tonight man." He kind of lost his shit at me and sent a bunch of angry texts the next day, which is a huge overreaction because I tried to be as nice as I could about things. So I guess am I the butthole if I just stop inviting him? Edit, for everyone calling me a racist in the comments. Some things you should know, that I should have included in the original post. He recently had a large personality change seemingly out of nowhere, which included some things like new music taste, excessive working out, and as of last week saying the N-word. I am not a racist, I do not condone racism, or his actions. He has not been invited back to my house since the first time he said that word, and will not unless he changes some things. I am not continuing to associate with a racist, as this is a new behavior, and my other friends feel the same way as I do. I should also add that I'm a senior in high school, and still figuring myself out.
Comment 1. You're the butthole, he thinks he is your friend and you love him. Your post says otherwise. Sometimes friendships end. Comment 2. How is it possible that you love him to death, yet he says the N-word, makes fun of people, and even makes you uncomfortable? That just boggles the kind you even trying to be friends with him. It's unfair that he boundary stomps and makes you feel bad. In the case of just having some friends over you're allowed to hang out with other people without him there. Not the butthole but seriously stop hanging out with this guy. Comment 3. Not the butthole. Many on Reddit likes to live in these worlds where everything is black and white and you can just easily cut out people with absolution and no consequences. But in real life there are so many intricacies that make situations more colorful. And I think you're handling this the best you can, especially as someone who is in high school. You're going to grow to be an amazing person. Comment 4. Not the butthole, because your guest list is up to you. But what's with the, "I love him to death" comment when you've got nothing good to say about him? I suspect you're sending some serious mixed messages his way. Story 3.
Am I the butthole for buying household items and keeping them in my room? Ever since I, 22 male, moved in with my roommate 32 male, I have been the only one buying toilet paper, trash bags, paper towels, hand soap, condiments and basically everything considered communal in a roommate situation. I am also the only one who ever cleans, mops, sweeps, cleaning the tub, toilet, kitchen and the dishes, but that's a bit besides the point. I've hit a bit of a financial tight spot and could only really afford rent, groceries and my phone bill, and we ran out of toilet paper and trash bags for a week and he never bought more. Don't ask me what I had to do, it was horrific. But I didn't have the cash to buy what we needed. There's no possible way he didn't notice, and the moment I bought more toilet paper but couldn't get trash bags, and so he just kept adding to an overflowing trash can and letting stuff just fall onto the floor. I am now out of that spot and I bought what we freaking needed, but I'm genuinely considering taking the trash bags, toilet paper, and paper towels out of the communal spaces and just keeping them in my room because I'm tired of being the only freaking person contributing to this household. He works from home. He's a streamer. And all he does all day is sit on the couch and get high and blast music and TikToks over his speaker, and then play video games until 4 a.m. on YouTube or something. There's no excuse for him not cleaning or noticing we need stuff. Would I be the butthole if I started keeping the toilet paper and trash bags and whatnot that I buy in my room?
Comment 1. Not the butthole, you're not his maid or his personal supply closet. If he can't be bothered to contribute, he can deal with the consequences. Keep your stuff in your room and let him figure it out like an adult. Comment 2. Not the butthole. Keep it in your room and lock the door anytime you leave. You're paying for these items and don't have to share them. Your roommate is a mooch and depends upon you buying things so he can use them. He can afford his weed, so he can definitely afford toilet paper, you know? He may have a stash of paper goods in his room anyway and you just don't know about it. The cleaning thing, he relies on you too. He knows if he leaves it long enough, you'll get sick of it and clean up after him. I don't think there is an answer to that, unfortunately, other than moving out or getting a different roommate. You'd like to think a 32-year-old would be mature enough to handle these responsibilities, but here we are. Comment 3. Not the butthole, but I can't help but notice that at no point in this story did you mention talking to him about it, so I assume you didn't. Open communication is key in communal living situations. Yes, it's stupid, but have a conversation. Being passive-aggressive is not going to make things better, and before you know it you'll just be counting the days until your lease ends. Welcome to adulting. Comment 4. Sounds like an uncomfortable, stressful way to live. Have you talked to him about this? Suggest starting a joint fund for household expenses. Or say, I've paid for the last X months of things, you need to pay for the next X months. If he agrees but doesn't take action, buy it yourself, and when you demand payment, tack on a $25 inconvenience fee for your time and gas. If he disagrees, absolutely keep everything locked in your room. Not the butthole. Comment 5. Obviously not the butthole, but I'm curious if you've actually sat down and said to him, hey mate, how are we going to split the housework and bills for common groceries? I think it makes more sense to just go halves on the cost for common things like toilet paper, cleaning products, paper towel, etc., but happy if you want to buy your own. Let me know what you think.
Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you want more videos like this. See you next time.